welcome to another video by Shadow Reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing another Hero Factory Transformers mock, and today we're going to be reviewing Dagger, one of the Hero Factory newer rookies. So here he is in his tank mode. As you can see, he's not too bad of a tank, definitely pretty different looking. That he's really thin in width, and he eventually comes out to this kind of point, which is not exactly a perfect point, but I mean, you can see he doesn't look like he's made for, flat out just ramming to smash things out the way. And he is quite thin, not armor-wise, but just, in width, like I said. I guess it's pretty thick from top to bottom, so that's not that much of a problem. But, he is a bit of a different tank than what you would normally expect. And because of these blades up here that he has as his front armor, he is able to ram through things and pierce them. Kind of like, throwing a dagger at something, for instance. And if you haven't figured it out already, it's because, this guy's named Dagger, so when he rams, the front of his tank goes through there, and his shape is, more blade-like, I guess, but just not as much tank-like. I mean, I did name him Dagger because of the shape of his tank. Looking at it, it's not that Dagger-like, but, from the front, it definitely is not, that, traditionally tank-like either. So, I think Dagger fits, especially since these blades can pierce stuff and cut things, I just think it really works for this guy because of the shape of his tank mode. I just think Dagger really works with it. May not for you, but, what else are you supposed to call him? So, here's his tank mode. I think it's pretty nice of a tank mode, Have a pretty nice armor flow around here. It's not that spectacular, gap right there where you can see his head, but not really much you can do about that. Here's him from the back, you can see his head. That's not that big of a deal, though. He has his feet sticking out, which looks pretty cool from the top, Trying to give you a full top view like that. It looks pretty cool. And from here, it kind of looks Star Warsian, like one of those, let me see, like one of those speeders that has like the two prongs out to the side and nothing in the middle. Almost looks like that. Got some trans red-orange armor here. You got your feet back there. These blades up here, like I said. I did use, let me take the weapon off. I did use this beast head to form kind of the nose of the tank. And that's just for a stylistic choice because it looks really cool up there, as a nose, up at the front. Just looks really cool with all those shapes in it. And if you wanted to switch it out with a printed beast head, then that would work too. Just, that would just give it a bit more style, I guess. So as you can see, the weapon doesn't seemingly attach to anything, and it actually doesn't. If you transform this guy correctly into his tank mode, or I guess, in just the right way, you can get his weapon to sit like that, and it'll sit just fine. You just kind of slide these Thornax shooters halves, right in between the armor, right there between the arms, and you just kind of sit there, and it sits pretty well. It kind of angles down, and there's not really much you can do about that. But I think it's pretty, I guess it's effective. I guess for display, it's not that good looking because it's always aiming down. You probably hit at most maybe right here in its range, but if you added a couple of pieces, you might be able to fix that. Like maybe if you bent the hands up. But I keep them down just, cover things up more. And, weapon's pretty simple. The Thornax shooter has on the Hero Factory shield with this blade up top connected with the pins. And a water blade just for, cutting and slicing and kind of shooting too. So, yeah, there's tank mode. Have some nice hard paws here just to form some more armor. And, yeah, armor plating on these blades. And, yeah. I think it is pretty nice, and I do like how some of the things connect. It's a rather simple mock, but it's still really nice looking, and I think probably is still fun to play with. Just, this falls out, which is not that fun, but just a tank you could roll around. This armor only really gets in the way of carpet, so on a smooth surface, you could just roll it around. You can ram into stuff. And sorry for that noise, it's probably annoying, but, you can do that. It's a hover tank, by the way, so it's supposed to hover above the ground. I think it's cool. So, without further ado, let's get to his transformation. So, you just want to set the weapon off to the side. Then let's split his hands right up here, like that. and just straighten them out. Here's his chest right here. So now what you want to do is you're going to come to the side, and these pieces once again, which you know, like I said a million times before, you should really get these. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull this out. See, this is connected to this part with a 3-long axle, which also allows it to connect to this. What you want to do is you want to grab like this, and then you want to pull it out like that. Just keeping the 3-long axle here because that's what attaches this. And then you just have this little assembly. So what you want to do is just spin that around and put it up here. So do the same on both sides. And I do like that connection in particular because I think it's, you know, kind of cool how these two parts just come down and then connect like that. So let's pull this out, spin that up here. Yeah. So now you're just going to pull the legs out from the bottom and then straighten them out. Then you could spin them around, just kind of angle these back a little bit. And what you want to do is you want to pull this back and then pull these back, like so. Now what you want to do is you want to move, let's angle up a bit. You want to move these back so that you can bring the head forward to its normal position. That got knocked off. And then you want to bring these back up, and then, you know, kind of fiddle with them so that they're kind of like that, or something to that effect. So now what you want to do is just put the arms down. You want to come back here and move these out the way. I'm going to fold this all the way up, and if you do it all the way up, it should cover the head ball joint on the backwards body, or the body on the, you get it, you know, ball joint here. If you fold this all the way up, it should cover that. So these just kind of go on like that. And these, you bend them up like this, bend these up out of the way. Then you do the same on this side, and then that just kind of covers up everything. So there you have, let's angle up a little bit more. There you have Dagger in his robot mode. And in his robot mode, there's not really anything that really reminds me of a Dagger, but I mean, I did name him for his tank mode, so I guess I'm not going to change it just because his robot mode has no Dagger-like qualities. So yeah, here he is, you know. He does have a simpler chest piece than what I might usually do, you know, because a lot of the time I use a 5.0 chest piece. This one's just kind of smooth, you know, simple, and if you don't like that, you could always switch it out, but I guess it's okay. You know, he's pretty nice. He has some, you know, silver, some black, gunmetal, a little bit of trans orange, not much, it's just on the arms. Has the blue and the trans neon green in his head, which is a little out of place. But other than that, I think he's, you know, pretty nice. He has his armor on his back, you know, and he doesn't have a lot of a backpack. It doesn't really extend back that far, which is a good thing. Because you don't want to, you know, like trying to be sitting this guy down, and you can't because his backpack goes all the way out to like here. And, you know, it's good. You know, it's simple. It has a simple construction, not a whole lot of parts, but I think it is an effective build. It's a good mock, and I think he is, in his own way, you know, still cool despite being very simple. You know, it has these large shoulder pads up here, which are on ball joints. And they do get in the way of the head, so that is a little bit of an issue. But you can, well, I guess you can't anymore. You can't move them back on that, but you can move them back like this. So if you didn't want them over the shoulders as shoulder pads, you could just do that. But I like the shoulder pads, even though it gets in the way of the head. So speaking of that, let's do the articulation. He looks down, you know, pretty okay. Doesn't look up very much, and as far as it goes, it displays these shoulder pads out. Looks right pretty well, surprisingly, because these large shoulder pads are here. But, you know, the visor is just, you know, hitting that now. And that's not a problem if you're just trying to put it down, but, you know, I guess it looks kind of weird because it's like he's looking over his shoulder pad. So he does do that, you know, got the tilt and stuff. So not extremely limited by the shoulder pads, but just a bit, you know, not all that much. So it's not much of a problem. Arms go up, and if you move the shoulder pad, they can go up all the way. They can go back, they can go forward, they can twist. bend at the elbow, about 90 degrees, and then all the hand articulation you could want. So let's put this back down. Now for the legs go forward about that far, just because this is here, right there. This is because of how it's constructed. They can go back about this far, which is about the same. So it's about, about the same distance, front to back. You can go out, you can go in, it can rotate. It has a knee bend more than 90 degrees, then all the, foot articulation you need. So yeah, despite what he has on him, he's still pretty articulate, pretty flexible. He is very tall just because of how he's constructed with two Hero Factory bodies stacked on top of one another. But that doesn't bother me, It does make him look maybe a little bit thin in the legs, maybe the arms as well, but it doesn't bother me all that much. So now for his weapon, he has this shield shooter type thing with this water blade here and this blade here. It uses the Thornax shooters from Bionicle, and that's just because I don't have any of the equivalent piece from Hero Factory. Don't have that next to me to show you either, but I mean, it comes with the Breakout series of Hero Factory and is very similar to the Thornax piece. It even shoots a sphere-like object. So I mean, if you have those, then you can just switch these out. But I had the Thornax things and not the 4.0 shooter halves, so I didn't use those. But anyway, pretty simply constructed. It's a simple weapon. Unfortunately, to put it on his arm, which is where it's supposed to go, you do have to take off an armor part. So that's a little unfortunate, because you may, set that down and then you can't find it. But yeah, I mean, I suppose you could, make some changes that it does just peg onto the armor part, but I didn't. So you're gonna just peg it on, or just snap it on there, and there he is with his shield. It looks pretty cool. It is quite long. As you can see, it reaches all the way to the ground, and he can't even put his arm completely straight. But that's okay. I mean, it's a cool weapon, definitely. He can do some slicing with this blade. He can shoot you with this. And if you want it, he could shoot you water with this if you want it. But, yeah, it's simple, it's cool, it's effective, I think. Overall, while being simple, this MOC is still very effective, I think it's definitely a good MOC despite its simplicity. I've said this with another simple MOC, I think it was Deadshot V2, which I think it's named. He was simple, but he's still really good, and he was awesome. I think that if you can pull off something that's very simple, I mean, not very simple because they're supposed to be Transformers, but if you pull off something somewhat simple and still have it look really good and function well, I think that that is a good thing. So for his backstory, this is one of the rookies that was recently built by Hero Factory after being attacked by the Beast. So, he got built and now he's a rookie. So, Dagger goes on missions. His mentor, I'm going to say would be Skyblade. Actually, no. This guy's mentor is Triggerlock. Now remember. His mentor is Triggerlock. And so he goes on missions with Triggerlock. He's a part of Triggerlock's team, which I guess Hero Factory still does. Some teams, but a lot of them are more solo now. So, yeah, he's Triggerlock's sidekick, I guess. He's his teammate, rookie teammate. And so, he goes on missions with Triggerlock and stuff. And that's about all I have, It's just Hero Factory is building more rookies because they feel they need more heroes now that the Beasts they know what they're up against more, because the Beasts were really tough to defeat, so they feel that more heroes will be better for, the galaxy. So, they're building more, and the next one you see should be pretty soon, and it should be a rookie. Hopefully, I think. Anyway, he goes on missions with Triggerlock, which I said a million times, and that's about all I have. So, thinking of more stuff on the spot, I guess I don't have anything. So, I'm trying to remember what I had said about this guy before. Because I built them before. I'm going back and building these guys. So, I can't really think of anything. So, yeah, I guess I just leave it at that. He's a rookie. He's on Triggerlock's team. He goes with Triggerlock on missions. And that's all I have, He gets in the... I mean, this guy, I'll have him be like... maybe, he's kind of strong, I guess. He has good armor. I guess his personality would be maybe more, stronger, more confident. more like that dude who knows what he's doing more. You know, he studies a fair bit. Probably the average rookie hero, I guess. And, you know, that's all I have on the spot. So, that's it. There's your look at, you know, Dagger. And, yeah. So, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. And don't forget to subscribe for more mod content. And I will see you guys later.